Fear of judgment, fear of criticism, that's the essence of fear of failure. But again, the real core of it comes down to whether or not what people say or think about you confirms something that you've always believed about yourself. Okay, so you can get past the fear of criticism of others if you don't have that poor self-image that you don't want confirmed by the judgment of another person. Okay, it's those two factors combined that become damaging. You're going to get criticism from others. That's just all there is to it. But the reason why we fear it is because we don't want that criticism to match our poor self-image. If the criticism is matching and confirming our poor self-image, that makes it that much more frightening, and that's why we're afraid to fail. Okay? So that's what I mean by personalizing failure. You can't personalize failure. That's why I alluded in the first episode to those who, work in mechanical or, the fields of technology and invention and that sort of thing. They know that failure is built in. You have to have failure. You're going to need failure because you can't just create the perfect engine just on your first try. That takes so much testing and trial and error. You have to be willing to do that. Right? When I run ads, for example, for clients or myself, Facebook type advertising and that sort of thing, I'll often do tests. So I'll use different headlines. I'll use different images, and I want to see which ad performs best. Well, if I've got several ads, some are not going to perform well at all. They're going to do very, very poorly. They're going to fail. Well, again, I can't take that personally. You just got to say, okay, X that one out. It doesn't work. Let's run the ones that work, right? So you have to be willing to look at that when it comes to your life. You can't be overly concerned and make everything personal when it comes to your failures. They are just part of what it takes to be successful. Now, this is not rocket science. I mean, motivators and achievers have said these sorts of things for decades. You have to be willing to experience failure. You have to be willing to find out that something did not work without personalizing it and being concerned about the judgment of others. I said in the last episode that, whether good or bad, who cares what anybody thinks about you? Really? I mean, who cares what anybody thinks about you, whether good or bad? You cannot be dependent on the opinions of others, whether they are good or whether they are bad. Because if those opinions go away or they change, you're so used to good opinions, then all of a sudden it changes, you'll fall to pieces. You don't want to be dependent upon or place any value in the judgment or opinions of others, whether they are good or bad. Your judgment has to be solid. It has to be objective. It has to be based on real, solid standards for yourself on your own particular value system. Judge yourself that way. But even when you do judge yourself in a way that you don't discourage yourself. You want to correct yourself. Correction is not judgment. Correction is not condemnation. Correction is different. You want to be corrected, right? You want to, in aviation or navigation, they'll talk about, correcting your course, right? Because you're getting off course, correct it. So if a pilot or navigator is getting off course and ground control tells them, hey, you're off, let's correct your flight pattern, are they going to take it personal because they were corrected? Absolutely not. You want to be corrected. You want to be taught. You want to learn the right thing. You got to stop making everything personal. That's the key. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Performance, it doesn't matter because you can always try again, right? You can always try it a different way. You can always, adjust something and go at it again. It's not just one shot. And the fact that you failed at something, to me, doesn't speak as loud as the fact that you're trying, that you're out there, fearlessly putting out the effort. To me, that speaks so much more than whether you didn't do a good job or you failed in the endeavor, right? To me, that speaks so much louder that you went ahead and did it, that you tried, that you worked hard, that you took a risk on yourself, and that you did it fearlessly, not being intimidated by other people, not being moved by the opinions of others, not worrying about your parents, not needing anybody's approval. No. You gave yourself full permission to work really hard, to try new things, to be the very best that you can be, and enjoy this journey. You'll have a hell of a lot better time on the way. Can you dig it? Hope you can.